Welcome back to Obscure Gaming, where much like Digimon, it went away for a very long time, but now it's back, except Digimon is far more frequent. With that said, today we're going to be somewhat topical and embrace the resurgence of the original Digidestin by talking about that bootleg classic, Digimon Fight for the Gameboy Color. That's right, Digimon Fight, the most self-explanatory video game ever not officially made by Bandai. As its name would imply though, it's a fighting game with Digimon in it that's loosely based on a GBA game called Digimon Battle Spirits, though it's more similar in concept than in practice as they are fairly different games. But before you head into the gameplay all willy-nilly, I feel it's important we go over the game's incredible story that's presented in not one, but 3 of the only known languages in the world. And after selecting your language, it's time to relive those classic Digimon memories. Because of the cooperation for the 8 chosen children, they finally defeat the most powerful dark digital monster, Opkalimon, who is so powerful and dark, he can't spell his own name. But the world of Digital Monster returned to the peace, and his friend back to the town of Original. But the people in the town still can't feel that the thing is over. Truly, this is a very descriptive plot. Also, it's nice to see Davis in such high spirits after being killed in the opening to Try. You're then shown Digivices from Season 2 and a little montage of most of the playable characters, and boom! Title screen with what I think is War Greymon on it. Now upon hitting New Game, you're greeted with Kalumon, who in the Game Boy Advance version would help you Digivolve in battle, but here instead decides to rule over the character select screen, of which the game starts you off with 6 Digimon to play as, because even though the story said that there were 8 chosen children, Joe and Izzy felt like sandbagging. Them aside, you get Agumon, Gabumon, Biyomon, Palmon, Patamon, and Gatomon. To unlock the other 4 characters, those being Vmon, Wormmon, Mummymon, and Impmon, you have to complete the game at least 4 other times, which when compared to other bootleg fighters whose arcade mode just seems to go on forever, this is hardly a taxing experience as this game actually ends. After selecting your Digimon of choice though, you enter the fray of battle, and at this point the similarities with Digimon Battle Spirits become apparent, it being a similar one-on-one style fighting game taking place on a fairly large battlefield, featuring different platforms to fight on, some stray items to collect, and what I'll call stage hazards. Although I have to admit, I think I like the bootleg more than the actual official game. The combat system isn't anything too complex, and it's pretty much universal across the board for all characters, with each character featuring a basic 3-hit-ish combo, which you can pull off by mashing on a button. Special moves like projectiles can be performed by inputting a quarter circle motion, and I've seen the AI pull off uppercuts, but I have no clue how they did those, and the DP motion didn't do anything, so I'm kind of at a loss for what to do, and I gave up. But rest assured, it's in there somewhere. Of course, the specialist of special moves you can do, though, is being able to Digivolve, and by filling up the meter located below your health bar, and pressing A and B, you'll get a neat little transformation sequence and your character will Digivolve, and control mostly the same, but you'll be taller and do more damage, and you get a super move, so it's way better. Plus, it's pretty cool to have 2 Digivolved forms going at it. Though you'll have more than just your opponent to contend with, as you also have to deal with random shit being thrown at you from various sides of the screen, like fireballs, or toxic air, or arrows, the Digimon's natural enemy. You also have to endure such dangers as bread, that will restore your health, this stuff, that will fill your gauge to Digivolve, and a present, that will lower your health, which is easily the worst present I've ever seen. The items and hazards are fairly frequent, and a little annoying in the case of the seemingly random hazards, though they are by no means a game breaker, and if you're lucky enough, you can juggle enemies into hazards to further your combo and do more damage, or just let them walk into one, because they're gonna do it anyways, so why not? And at the end of your journey of beating up other digital monsters for some reasons, you get an ending. Is it an ending in which you see the revival of the dastardly Opkalimon? Nope, instead you get a picture, some being painfully cute, like this one, others just being a picture, like this one. All things considered though, this is a surprisingly solid gameplay experience. Controls are fairly snappy and responsive, especially when compared to its bootleg brethren, most of which being horrendous. The only legitimate fault I can find with this illegitimate product is that it's a tad simplistic, which is a fairly light complaint, all things considered. The only broken part of the gameplay experience comes with the save screen, which is slightly corrupted and screwy, just a little bit. I don't know what I'm looking at, to be honest, but despite this broken appearance, it still works. You have to kind of fiddle around in the dark, per se, but it does work. You can save, so cool. And also, the game has a save feature. This bootleg has a save feature and it works. That's amazing. And much like with the gameplay, the presentation holds up fairly well. Sure, could a lot of this stuff be stolen assets from other stuff? You bet, or I'd be disappointed if it wasn't. Either way though, it's the thought that counts. Most Digimon have pretty good animations and look pretty good. The sprites themselves are pretty detailed and cool, with the exception of like Wormmon. But all in all, both the base forms and Digivolved forms look and animate very well. Another thing that looks pretty impressive is the Digivolution screen, which is actually pretty close to the actual one you'd see in the show, give or take a few things like CG. Even the backgrounds are rather pretty. They don't look like they're comprised of nonsensical aspects from other games. Water and lava in the background of the stages animate well, and the game manages to not suffer from flickering or any weird slowdown, providing a very sound experience. Segueing off of the word sound though, this is yet another area that the game excels in, as the music is pretty catchy. I'll give you a listen. If anyone recognizes that from some other game, please let me know. But even if it was stolen, it's good stuff. The sound effects for the fights are spot on as well, and even the Digivolution screen manages to sound like my brain thinks it should. I'll go ahead and play that too real quick. Hopefully at least one other person out there agrees with me in that it sounds kinda right. But by all accounts, Digimon Fight is a good game. A very good game, in fact. Something you can't say about every bootleg, especially when it comes to bootleg fighting games, which at some point I'm just gonna have to go on a video tangent about, because they're terrible most of the time, really. They're awful. But this is a game that I can in good faith recommend should you happen to track it down in your travels across the internet. Until next time though, this has been Obscure Gaming. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to End Slate, where just as you thought the video was over, I started talking again. Of course, you just saw, well, hopefully, an Obscure Gaming on Digimon Fight for the Gameboy Color. I hope you enjoyed the video, also. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the end slating business of End Slate at the end of videos with slating. My cat is scratching at the door. Perfect. Earlier someone was firing a gun, and cat scratching at the door. Happy Easter! Anyways, End Slate. Last time, how do I do this? Well, last video I did on this channel, which, that was a video, it was a bullshit creepypasta story time, if you will, on a story called Pokemon Dead Channel. If you want to see that video, there's an annotation that you can click on if you want, but I'm not going to force you to. The other two videos are going to be two other videos. I don't know what they'll be off the top of my head, but they'll be there, and if you want to click on them, you can do so. I'm not going to force you. Bottom of the screen, Nico does the art for the channel. It's wonderful. You should check out his social media and his blissful art. I also have social media, mostly just hang out on Twitter, post about Kamen Rider constantly. It's not a personal problem, but you can check that out if you wish. And of course, if you like the video and you want to see more, and you want to like or share or subscribe or do any of those things, it's greatly appreciated because it helps, but me not force you to do that. As a side note, in case I already said side note in the end slate, I recently voiced the new Did You Know Gaming on Okami, which if you look at the comment section, apparently I can't pronounce Japanese words. But I figured I'd let you guys know that if you wanted to check that out. I was pretty stoked to be back on Did You Know Gaming. I hope I'm allowed back on in the future, but I don't have super high hopes for that because I read comments, you know? I get it, I can't speak Japanese. Anyways, next time on End Slate, this was a long one, shit. Next time on End Slate, it's going to be a different video, and hopefully it won't be next month when we do the End Slate, because I'm trying to do a new gaming mystery soon. But I'll see you guys next time on End Slate. Happy Easter.